Hi, a very warm welcome to Dusty Shelf. Today's video takes us to Long Melford near Sudbury in Suffolk to an exhibition hosted by the Sudbury Model Railway Club. The exhibition took place on Sunday the 11th of May 2025 and was a charity show to raise funds for the first Chadbrook Guide's trip to Switzerland later this summer. The quality of the exhibits was superb, with over 15 layouts on display, all of which to an extremely high quality, with refreshments and a tombola provided by the guides. Only the one trader, Sudbury Model Railways, had an interesting store of second-hand rail items, and it was great to see some younger exhibitors operating a couple of the layouts, clearly very proud of their modelling efforts. The show this year was held in the Long Melford Memorial Village Hall and the Scout and Guide hut next door. This gave a nice spacious atmosphere and viewing was very easy and relaxed, differing a little from last year where it was all hosted in the one hall. It's also important to say how friendly everyone was at the show, and it was nice to talk to so many of you. There are many highlights of the show, but just to pick a few with no particular bias. I love the theme of the Heritage Railway with the tourist miniature railways on the Treblecombe layout. I also always enjoy New Warmington Pier purely because of my love of the seaside. There was the wonderfully modelled snow on the Churwalden layout, the concept of bringing buildings to the front of the layout on the narrow gauge roast green depot, and a special mention to Two Sisters Farm, an absolute masterpiece in model making. I've mentioned just a few there, but every single layout was special in some way, and I hope you'll join me now as I take a more in-depth look at the exhibits and show you these wonderful layouts in their full detail. Well, a very warm welcome to Long Melford, and starting with this layout, Crikey, it's a shed, as we see the tram making its way round there. So it's wonderful little fairground. Well, the tram's got caught on the corner. I really do like the swing boats, and these are Fowler models, I believe. You can see the hot dog stand there, little kids roundabout, and the Ferris wheel all lit up in the background there. Turning down across the roundabout here, looking at the market stalls. I'll just catch the tram going past again. Over the back here, an engineering yard. You see the transfer track. You see a tram sort of put there for a moment, but would normally be sitting on the track there quite early in the morning, so the layouts are still being set up. Lovely castle building. And let's catch the tram going past. Well, this wonderful layout here again. This is Treblecombe. Now, I filmed this at Stodden Barns earlier in the year, and at the time I couldn't work out what gauge this smallest layout is. I just talked to the gentleman here. This is Z gauge, and very nicely done to look like a miniature railway. As you can see, the oversized passengers and the oversized driver in the loco. Complete with the car show. You see all the cars parked here. Little AA vans over the back there. Another passenger train, 009 gauge, running along the back here. Past the other Z gauge loco. I'm going to keep saying Z gauge. And then over the back of the layout here, the 00 gauge main line. The platform at this end. And DMU just coming into the platform there. And running all the way down. We'll follow this loco down. To the goods yard at the far end.
How about we get the one out the end? Should we do that?
Following along the car show that's here. And as I come down towards this end, a couple of military vehicles. A lovely model of a traction engine. And then the tractors that are here. and a couple of portaloos at the end. Little turnaround loop at the end here for the narrow gauge, but what's caught my eye is the scrap vehicles over the back here. I like the tarpaulin on the coach there, and also this Great Western loco, fully weathered. Just follow this loco around the turnaround loop. With the name Treblecombe has just clicked, obviously 3 gauges for Treblecombe. Depicts a heritage line with a narrow gauge railway, passenger railway, so we've got fine scale, narrow gauge over the back there, 00 gauge. Then we've got the 009 with a narrow gauge, and then the Z gauge representing the miniature railway. Just come back down to this carriage again, because it does actually put my efforts to shame. If you haven't seen those, they're on the channel. Put some graffiti on an old carriage, but this I think is particularly well done. I was just looking at the rust around the windows. Yeah, very effective indeed, and the tarpaulin looks superb on there. Yeah, and also the again the weathered loco. Yeah, very effective. Well, this is Two Sisters Farm. Got some very interesting stock on here, and some wonderful scenery. I'm just going to pan back a bit, because this is one of those layouts that just shows what you can do, what you can really do with a small amount of space. Yeah, very, as I say, very interesting stock. A lovely water tower. We've got the cattle being herded across here, and a beautifully modelled tree at the back there. And then over the back you can see the tractors in the barn. What a lovely layout. Very effective indeed. Keep looking, there's all kinds of little details, little potting shed here and the chicken next to it, and a little grass growing up on the water tower. A little coal scuttle at the front here, a coal yard, and a guy having a rest from cutting the wood on the trestle there. Just one final thing to point out at the back here, you can see the mechanic working on the tractor there. Got the hood of the tractor up, all the tools on the ground. So just talking to the gentleman, this is based on the Lincolnshire potato farms, and the vehicles. Essentially what happens when you've got a farmer with a working old truck, a railway and a welder. And yeah, I'm going to mention the ironing board that it's sitting on, 1950s ironing board, but just going to show you the stock over the back here. Some really wonderful engines. Look at that, that's superb. Wonderful. And there's this one down here, based on an old Land Rover. That's wonderful. Well, a beautiful layout here. This is Stoney End. Again, another one of these layouts that just shows what can be done with a small amount of space. Wonderful detail on here. Just looking at the fence in the foreground. And wonderful little narrow gauge engine. Just doing a run around the coaches at the moment. Loving the sleepers on the platform. I've just spotted the footbridge over the exit onto the fiddle yard. I'll just come up a little bit. You can see all controlled, digitally controlled there, and the fiddle yard over the back. A lovely little layout here called Bookworm Junction. You see the fire station over here. I'm loving the model of the McDonald's, and the little schoolhouse there. I believe that's a Metcalfe kit. Another Metcalfe house at the end here. What a great layout there. Let's catch Gordon coming round. Yeah, wonderful little layout here, Bookworm Junction. Does say come and have a go, and wonderful for the younger visitors, and being operated at the moment by some of the younger exhibitors here. Lovely narrow gauge setup here. This is Suffolk Heights Light Railway. I'll just show you some of the stock while the loco's being prepared. Loving the rail car here. Catch the loco as it comes round. Just coming into shot now. There we go. There's some very nice models in the middle here.
Yeah, open to offers.
So we got around.
Look at the diesel loco here. Just catch the train go past again. Loving this one. Look, Griffin. The chain drive on the side there. And the vertical boiler over the back. What a lovely, wonderful narrow gauge layout here. This is roast green. Sorry, I just have to look across. And let's disappear behind the building here. Got 2 gauge tracks on here, both to 7mm scale. Obviously a very narrow gauge here, and the larger gauge over the back there. do like the way that the trains are disappearing behind the buildings. Gives a real depth to the layout. And again, another one of these layouts that just shows what can be done on with a small footprint. A little turntable at the end here, and with the building at the end here, looks like it goes off into another show scene, but the tracks do in fact end there with the double scales. Beautifully tiled roof here, contrasting with the corrugated iron roof at the end, and just the trees poking over the top of the building. Very nicely executed. I do like this. Look at the fence down the front here, and just make sure I've got that in the shot. You see the fence running the full length of the front of the layout. Yeah, but quite novel to have the buildings sort of in the foreground and the locos indeed disappearing behind them. Well, I forget where I saw this layout last time, but it is absolutely fantastic. Churwalden. And what I said about this layout last time is the way the locos appear and disappear into the tunnels. Just looking at the Christmas market scene just here. Now the lights are actually flashing on the camera, they're not flashing when I'm standing here looking at them, obviously going in phase with the camera, unfortunately. But if you've ever tried to model snow, you'll know how difficult it really is, and yeah, to get it this well done is quite something quite special. I mean, look up on the hillside here, you've got the little chalet right on the cliff face. You see the snow and frost gathering on the rocks. And the slippery road coming into the ski resort with the coach there. Right at the top here, a little snowball fight going on by the look of it. And the frozen waterfall just glistening there as it comes down the rock face, catching this other train. And just here,
That's why we do it, isn't it? To make our layout or something else layout.
and then just down the front of the layout, you see the ski slope, and at the bottom here, some of the tobogganists. Hopefully that's coming out. They're quite small, obviously with it being in scale.
Well, the least stressful place there is. You take it, you sure?
Well, here we have Foxbile Brewery, and it says here another pointless layout, and as you can see, the layout's actually built in 2 box files. And if I come down to this end, I mean, I love these because, you know, for such a large scale on such a tiny footprint, they are so effective. This gentleman has quite a number of layouts that I've filmed over the exhibitions over the last few years, and yeah, beautifully detailed, all of them. Well, I think I said it last time, this is one of my favourite layouts to film. Amberton Vale in this N gauge fine scale. Wonderful, wonderful setup. And everywhere you look, more and more details. Say it every time I see this layout and see new things on here. I've mentioned the garage before. I'm just going to come all the way down to the end here, and there's little things like the couple of hikers there, and the fallen tree. There's another tree that's fallen over this side. And right at the end, right at the very end, some horses just on the hillside behind the fiddle yard. Let me catch this loco. And this ends the wonderfully detailed station. You see the loco making its way in. And just to give you some idea of the size of this layout, if I just pan down it, you can see how far it stretches. Truly is a wonderful setup, and the same level and quality of detail all the way down. Just notice the little newspaper stand on the platform, and all the locos running sound. Just hear the hot dog van, all the chairs outside, the Land Rover over the back there with the horse boxes, and the cattle market. Look at the little VW van with the hay in the back. As I say, every time I see this layout, there's new things to look at. A repurposed track at the front here with some moss growing over it. Well, as I say, certainly one of my favourite layouts to film. Well, this truly wonderful layout is Tollesbury Quay. Now, when I saw this the other week at one of the exhibitions, the layout was actually in the atrium, right above a skylight, with extremely strong sunlight coming through, and I mentioned how uncomfortable it must have been operating it for the whole day in the heat. But one of the things that with the sunlight there is the lighting package on here, which I just pan up. You can see there's sort of LED lighting on here. It really brings the colours out on this layout, and it's completely ineffective when in the sunlight. So hopefully, filming the layout again today, you can see how the lighting package really does work with this. Got the sort of inside lights just here, got the lid up, hopefully the camera's picking up on those, and the building lights as well over the back. There's some street lights, but it's mainly the lights that come from above that really do bring out all the colours and textures and detailing on this layout. The quayside itself is particularly well done, with the light reflecting off of the water. You see the wonderful detail on the boat here, and the boathouse at the end, and other little details, such as if I look underneath the boathouse, this is all really nicely finished. Contrasting shiplap there with the corrugated roof. And you can hear the soundtrack playing in the background that really does bring the atmosphere of the layout to life. Here's a loco that I saw on the Bluebell last year, Normandy. That is a lovely model. Now, I did mention the workshops last time, but just pan in and show inside here the little detailing with all the machines in that machinery in there. As I say, now with the sunlight you can see the fire in the bin there. Just catch this loco coming into the siding. Loving the crane that's here. And the little seagull flying overhead. I think I pointed this one out last time, but again, hard to see because of the lighting, but very evident now. Well, a wonderful layout here that I've filmed a couple of times, Whitmarsh Old Town, and I won't do too much detail on this one because I think I've said it all before, but loving the brickwork on here, the rock faces, the planting, the town at the back here, the water at the front with the wash behind the boat. Truly is a masterpiece. I'll just film a few of the locos moving on this one today. Rather nice bookshelf layout here. This is Abbott Darcy. I'll just pan along past the locos here. And you see at the end the bridge here disappearing into the fiddle yard at the end. And yeah, a really nice, nicely detailed scenery on here, with the loco running into the station. Just looking at the edge of the platform, you can see how the bricks have been weathered. A wonderfully detailed signal box with all the lights on inside. And some Christmas tree lights. Well, we've got New Warmington Pier here. We've seen this a couple of times. Little tramway running down the pier. And then towards the end here, all of the well-dressed characters by the carousel. And down underneath, I'll just pan back a little bit, see the dolphin just coming out of the sea. The toast rack tram here reminds me of the one they've got in the museum at Southend, and yeah, if you haven't seen the video on there, do have a look. I took the train along Southend Pier, and then down at this end we've got the lift and the electric tram to the end of the pier, and then underneath the bathers. Well, this layout here is Hornby Dock, and yeah, very effective. I like the way the rails run out into the concrete at the end here. Obviously a bit of a work in progress because the concrete hasn't run into the point section. And I'm looking at the buildings at the back here. You can see that we need to get some, I'm guessing some windows going to be added in there to make them look like the warehouses at the end here. Loving the little cranes along the front. There's one here, two, and then a third one at the end there, and then a couple of ships in the foreground with the waves on the sea. Very effective actually. So the loco makes its way into the fiddle yard. You can see the sort of transfer track where they can move the loco off into the behind the scenes. We'll just catch it coming back again. And just to point out, the ships are scratch built. They appear to be a card manufacture, and you can see the lifeboat here, and indeed the lifeboat station at the end there. Very nice setup. Well, a nice little layout here called Birch Farm. You can see the little farmyard at the end here, and the locos moving back and forth into the shunting yard by the platform. operated by some of the younger exhibitors here. And we've got the mill house at the top here with the car park, and a nice little bit of scenery at the end there with the woodcutter's hut. Very nice indeed. Well, a wonderful show. I did come to this show last year and it was in the one hall. It was very crowded. Now over 2 halls, very well laid out, some really lovely layouts, really nice selection of layouts, and you know, very good price to get in actually on this one. One of the lesser expensive shows that I've been to this year, and probably one of the better ones. Raising money for charity for the local guides for their trip that they're going on in the summer. So I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you to all the exhibitors and organisers, and yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and why not check out the channel, lots on there. If you can subscribe, you'd do me a big favour. And with that, I'm going to leave this there and just say thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.